Somebody's getting it, somebody's getting my love. Somebody's getting it, somebody. Somebody done got it. Somebody done got it. Somebody done got it.
Hey, it's your Nomad Consultant here with another Nomad Ride review. Today I'm blessed. I'm in the grey city of London. Unfortunately, we're not being blessed with the sunshine we get normally in Milton Keynes. But today I've been blessed with the Mercedes, the C-Class. So I'm going to be giving you a nice little quick, as usual, quick on the outside, quick on the inside, and a little small test drive in this local car park. So like always guys, especially for C-Class owners, look at the video, give me your comments, let me know what you love and what you hate about this car. For me, it's going to be hard because I love Lexus and Mercedes, so I won't be giving no impartial review, I'll be honest.
So Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes?
Okay guys, like I was saying, there will be no impartiality in this review because I ain't gonna lie, Mercedes is close to my heart. Here we have the Mercedes-Benz C-Class, otherwise known as the W205. Now, I used to own a W202 model, which was a 99 model, and I loved the way it drove. Yes, a bit boxy looking compared to the cars today, but at least it was reliable. Unlike the model that came after it, which was the W203, that was roughly, you're looking about the 2000 to 2007. Now, for my followers, I would advise to avoid that model like the plague, okay? Now, this one is the W205, and this is the first car to use the all-new modular rear-wheel drive architect, MRA, for those people who actually like the techie bit. However, this platform makes it look like the mini S-Class. Now, this was a smart move by Mercedes for car owners like me who love the S-Class but can't afford the price tag. At least if I own the C-Class, I feel like I'm one step closer to my dream. Anyway, if you think about it, this is the same way Land Rover did with the Evoque, aka the baby range. Now, the C-Class suddenly became desirable to a large segment of the population, especially for those who love the S-Class. Engine-wise, you will get petrol and diesel options. The petrol engine is a 182 brake horsepower 2-liter turbo, which is badged as a C200. The diesel options are 2.1 liter diesel, one with 168 brake horsepower, which is the C220 Blue Tech, and the other one is the 202 brake horsepower, which is a C250 Blue Tech. There are other engines available, such as the hybrid ones, and these are added from 2015 onwards. The car we are reviewing today is the C220 Blue Tech, and I love the way it pulls strongly from low revs and it has enough power for me. Honestly, it's not really worth it to spend a few thousand more just to get a C250, just for a little more oomph. I mean, if power and speed is what you crave, then get yourself an AMG and move to Germany, to be honest. Noise wise, the sound is much better than the older diesel model, which was embarrassing to be frank. And Mercedes are starting to realize that people want diesel, but they don't want to sound like they're driving a tractor. Gearbox wise, they offer a manual or automatic, but honestly, in a Mercedes, who would want to drive a manual? Okay, unless you really love to drive, but come on. It is meant to be a cruising car for lazy and stress-free driving. Why ruin that experience by getting yourself a manual? Boot space wise, it is nice and spacious. However, when compared to the Audi A4 and the BMW 3 Series, it is slightly smaller, but for the average driver it's perfect. Driving position wise, you sit nice and low in the C-Class, which is ideal for those wannabe gangsters. However, for me, I like to see the end of the bonnet when I drive, so I was happy that the driver's seat had the electric settings to raise the seats. The dashboard and central console surround is the big plus for me, because it allows me as a driver to concentrate on driving and not having to mess about with these useless buttons nowadays these manufacturers put in. The infotainment is clear, and I love when I put on the reverse camera, it looks really nice and sharp, which makes parking a doddle, especially when you have the standard fit parking sensors. In the front, the space is plentiful, and with the ability to still have different seat adjustments, the front passengers will always be comfortable. I wish I could say the same for the back passengers. I mean, if there are only 2 rear passengers and the front passengers are not tall, then for long journeys it is good. However, that humongous transmission tunnel will always be a punishment for the 5th passenger, as there's practically no footroom at all. So I'm in the back seat now, and the driver position is in my setting. I got a bit of space, but if you have a tall driver in front, good luck to space. I mean, there's a big transmission tunnel in the middle, so really I would call it a 4-seater, but yes, technically it has 3 seat belts in the back, so it's a 5-seater. But the way I look at it, Mercedes here, this is the only flaw, I would say. This is why a lot of people have decided to go for the E-Class. I mean, the E-Class is known for taxis, being executive cars, for business leases. So in that respect, I understand why. But saying that though, the C-Class have increased the length of this car. So it's not as bad as the previous model. I think, in my opinion, it's better. But at the same time, if you are family with young teenagers, you might be looking for a bigger kind of car, for especially for legroom in the back. But for 2 adults, comfortably, you can do long trips easily. So yeah. And you still have some good toys in here. I mean, you still have electric windows, which is great. And actually, okay guys, we're now inside the Mercedes C-Class. As you can see, it's fully pimped out with toys. They've really actually put a lot of thought into this. They realize people not only like to see the outside of their car, but they're also going to be driving, especially for the driver. Very spacious. The seats can go up and down. I mean, bear in mind, this is the AMG line model, so it comes with a bit more toys than the standard spec. But still, the steering wheel can go back and forth. You also have the option, you know, with the seats with normal, so it can go really all the way down for tall drivers, so you don't have any issues from clearance perspective. And also, the thing I like about it is that some people don't like the buttons to control the screens, but I have no problem with it. I think it's very user-friendly. I like the controls, the key controls being on the steering wheel, so your Bluetooth, your cruise control, as well as the, how would you say, the home button, so you can actually control a few things from your, you know, dashboard. And other than that, I'm impressed with the cubbyhole spaces here. You know, it's pretty good. That's the start-stop that just came on now. And speaking about that, you've seen with this car, with the engine is a 220, and some people have not been a big fan of the sound, but still, as a diesel, it's gone quieter from the old diesel that I used to know, so I have no issue with it. But I like the steering wheel. It seems very sporty, and actually they've really done themselves well here. So yeah, it's a plus point for me. It's a very well kitted out, well thought. You have your heated seats in here, and yeah, nice Mercedes, nice. Okay guys, we'll just take it for a quick test drive in this small car park. Basically, what you gotta understand is that unfortunately I wasn't blessed today with the sunshine. I've been blessed with my previous videos, but hey, beggars gonna be choosers. So what I think of this car, I really like it. I mean, when I was looking to get my Lexus, I was torn between getting this or the IS300, but I end up going for the CT200. But if I had to upgrade my Lexus, I probably would still struggle to choose between this or the Lexus IS300. The positive with this car is basically it's a diesel, so for good motorway mileage, you're loving, you know, the MPG. And also road tax wise, I think it's only £20, so that's ideal. But when it comes to, how would you say, and the IS300, depending on the year you buy it, it's actually free. The other thing that I do like about this car is the fact that it's a Mercedes. So when it comes down to it, I've always been a kind of a choice between Mercedes or Lexus. They've always been my two favorite premium cars. It comes down to your preference of Japanese or German. And Mercedes with this car, they've really changed the game. You know, when you're in it, you feel really executive. You feel like kind of like you made it in life. You know, I see some people on Twitter posting a picture of this Mercedes saying, that's it now, I made it in life. And they know what they're doing. They've actually packaged a car very well from the outside. The way I look at it with this car, I mean, it's very low. So if you're going on bumps, you need to be careful. But it kind of grips the road well. It's very comfortable to drive. It gives you a premium feel, but it's still an affordable car. And when they made this upgrade with the C-Class, so that's from 2014 onwards, you find it kind of a difficult choice between choosing this or the E-Class, because before there was a big gap between the two, but with this shape and with this modification, they've actually made it easier for people who want to buy a premium car and not having to pay for the premium price to actually go for that. So now if I had a choice between the E-Class and the C-Class, without a doubt I would go for the C-Class, because the fact it's you're getting a better price, more bang for the buck, as they say. I love the turning circle on this car, because Lexus is known to have a good turning circle, but so has, you know, Mercedes has this reputation. I've owned the old C-Class, and I'm talking about, you know, was it in 1990, and even then I used to call it my kind of carpet, flying carpet, very comfortable to drive. But with this car, it's really changed the game. And I think if you were considering a C-Class, I definitely take a test drive. And between the engine sizes, you have your 220, the 250, then of course the larger engine, but really the 220 is already powerful enough. You're not trying to actually drive an AMG, just get the AMG line, and you basically get your better kind of and toys with it as well. So yes, the C-Class, and also never buy a Mercedes with a manual gearbox. Mercedes don't do manual. They do very bad manuals. Always go for automatic. And the good thing about with this car is that they actually, you know, the majority of these cars are all automatic, so you can't go wrong. If you are really a fan of manual, then go for the other German cars, the Audis and stuff. Mercedes do good automatic, and they're good for lazy driving, comfortable. I like it, except for the issue on the back seats, where basically I don't find it as spacious as other cars. Except for that, I can't really fault this Mercedes. And this is the reason why between car manufacturers, Mercedes and Lexus are always on my top. Now, saying that though, remember guys, always make sure you find a low mileage one or either one with history, because when premium cars go wrong, they go wrong expensive wise, okay? So make sure you actually have the history with this car. Lexus and Toyota, they're known for their kind of reliability, despite even an abused version. But yeah, the way I look at it, we can't go wrong. C-Class, you're top of my list when it comes to changing cars. And then for E-Class, they need to change the game now. They need to justify to people why they're going to charge them more for a car that's similar to the C-Class. And I think basically, if you were looking for a first car and you wanted a premium car, think of the C-Class. And I think with this car, they've kept the leader status. Yes, you'll have the other manufacturers trying to come in, but they've actually, I think, cemented their position in this model basically. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed that, and like always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. And I'll basically keep on trying to bring some other premium cars, but like I said, it depends on who is available and which car I get. So until the next time guys, like always, peace and love.
In my opinion, the C-Class still sets the benchmark for its competitors, and in order to stay ahead, it needs to constantly innovate. Mercedes recently did innovate in 2018 when they modified 6,500 components and gave the C-Class a mini facelift, just focusing on the paint colors and lights, which are really the only differences with this mini facelift. If I was to recommend any of the models that the C-Class offers, then I would tell my followers to go for the AMG line model, as they have the desirable sporty body kits, the sharper look, and they will actually turn heads as you cruise by in your local supermarket or your local high street.
Hope you guys enjoyed this week's Nomads Ride review, and like always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. Until the next time, peace and love.
No, I'm really just